You know,
Save so many jobs.
General Motors, I saw what they were doing the other day. They were actually isolating people and getting people back to work so they could produce ventilators. They stopped producing cars, but vents. Okay. But again, General Motors did it smart. So there are smart ways to do that. The only industry I think is in serious trouble, who will have a hard time modifying, will be the restaurant industry. Not
Even
sure
for the restaurants in Hong Kong, you can only seat two to a table, and each table they've had to separate the tables by a certain distance,
about.
and you can go and eat there. We go.
Sure.
Our landlord, who owns a restaurant just outside, very good quality food.
Mhm.
Uh, the chef is trained in Norway or something like that.
Right.
Very, very good quality food. We go there. We used to sit four to a table. Now it's just two to a table.
Sure.
We just take our masks off, put them in a little envelope which we've
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
and that's it. And keep it on the table. We eat our food, put on a mask again, and pay a bill and go home.
Right. Well, they can they're going to have to reconfigure. And see, the
Yeah,
real problems with reconfiguring, because most all the restaurants here are open platform, okay, and they need to change it, to a closed platform, and that's very expensive. But that's the only thing I can think of. They're
still
going to,
better than shutting down.
yeah,
Still better than
yeah.
shutting down.
No, and I totally agree. And the same thing with a lot of companies. Like when I had my company up in Bellingham, I had 10,000 square feet office, which by the way is pretty big. And I had 34 offices for my employees. 34 of them in individual offices. We didn't have cubes because I just didn't believe in cubes. I thought people would be more productive in their own office. But that is the way to do it. But here's what happened. I'm going to tell you what happened in the US. There was a big trend. Well, people aren't as productive in an office as they are in a cube because then they can socially interact. I'm not kidding. There are huge studies done on it. So all the IT people moved toward open platforms. I just kept mine as individual offices because I was old school and I thought, hey, it's pretty neat if I'm an employee, I get to go to my own office. So I had all my employees had their own offices. And here's what happens because of COVID-19. The platform for your employees is better for them to have their own offices and get rid of this open platform cubes, which I hated anyway, you know? So they have to go back to that. So there are different ways, smart ways that you can actually get people moving again and working again. But here's what I hear from our leadership. And I'm sure in India, you guys are 10 times smarter than us, so you don't hear that. Nothing, nothing that is even creative or close. I mean, they're like out to lunch, I'd fire them all, but they don't work for me. So I can't. Well, I can vote. Okay.
I'm gonna share something with you guys because we've been talking about the ultraviolet sanitizers, and this is research I have done about 5 to 6 years ago in sanitizing water, and we utilize the germicidal ultraviolet lamps to sanitize water, and then we utilize certain filters and alkaline substances to put alkaline back into the water, because when you kill germs and bacteria in water, a lot of times you kill the good things too. So there's a process to all of this, that you don't just kill everything in it. You have to put the minerals and everything back into the water after you clean it. So the germicidal ultraviolet rays, I've been hearing a lot about them from researchers pertaining to being able to sanitize us for the virus. And so I've reached out to a couple of doctors because they have proven I have seen samples where it has killed the Ebola. Where it's killed the Ebola virus. Like they've got petri dishes, right? And they put the ultraviolet germicidal lamp over them, and it kills them. How long does it take? We don't know. I've asked if they've done this with the coronavirus. But, it's interesting to me that now they're looking at this as a means to sanitize. We've seen the sprayers. We've seen various different things. And I just thought the ultraviolet was interesting because I keep showing the Darth Vader mask. And I'm asking, what do we use the saber for, right? Well, there you go. The ultraviolet saber, germicidal. It's interesting to research. It really is. They really do. Who approves these? You get the WHO approved ultraviolet lights. That's the ones I used in my research. And they'll kill everything, including certain worms in water. So if you're like overseas, this is what you want to use. Besides they came up with the means of putting a filter over your water, like a piece of cloth, and that would take the worms out. I know it's a disgusting subject, but again, viruses can be disgusting. I wanted to share this because this is a conversation going on out there. I've received research samples. People text me research samples of what they're doing with germicide lamps with the virus. I just had to share it with you. I have a lamp in my storage outside, and I went to go get it, but I can't get to it. So I just thought I would share. But go out and look, people. If you're bored, go do some research. I'm sure there's a scientist out there that doesn't have anything else